Now we can get started. We're already starting, but shit. Okay, so hi. My name is Juliette and I welcome you to my channel Intuitive Juliette, and this is the Intuitive Podcast where I tell you this episode number 11, I actually know which one this time, how you can permanently change your mindset by doing this little thing. The land of beer, it is Dutch land, the Netherlands. Welcome to my new podcast room. We're setting up. It's all gonna be great. I don't know what's what yet, but this is the couch and a pillow, another pillow, and a blanket. But you're not here for that. You're here to hear me speaking about how you can change your mindset permanently, right? Or just ignore the pants. Most of my videos, I'm not used to you seeing my pants, but now you do, you dirty. What is the most important thing? Like, am I gonna tell you immediately, or I'm gonna talk for 5 minutes and then going to tell you? I'm gonna tell you immediately. This is what you must do. We're not beating around the bush here. Except that I want to tell you this one thing. I actually enjoy drinking alone now. And I don't overindulge anymore when I'm alone, but I just enjoy just like 1 or 2 drinks when I'm alone, and it's great. Another great thing about today, my hair is doing a great job today by sitting how it's sitting, and I'm just proud of it. And I just wanted to tell you. Now, what must you do to permanently change your mindset? Every single day as you wake up, what's the first thing that you do? Well, most people go on their phones. I do too, at some point. Can't ever drink something without fucking burping it up again. But then what? What do you do when you wake up? What do most people do? And what is the thing that I have done for years? And I only stopped doing it about maybe 2 years ago. When you get out of bed, you hear an incessant little voice in your head that's saying, I don't want to get up. I don't want to get out of bed. My alarm clock went off. I hate my life. I don't want to go to school today. I don't want to go to my job. I don't want to go do this. I can't wait to be in bed again at the end of the day. That's what I mean. That's the mindset change that you need to change. That's the mindset change that you need to change in order to literally, that one thing that I did literally transcended everything. It transformed my whole life. It got me from, and I'm not gonna like sugarcoat this and say like, oh, the one day, is the lighting okay by the way, or is it too light? Well, it doesn't matter. The one, like it's not gonna be like the first fucking day that I did that and my whole life entirely changed. No, but you know what did change? It got me into, it still took me like 2 years to get to that point, but it got me to a point where I was like, I can make my day shitty and I can make my day fun. And it starts with me getting out of bed. And when you every single day get out of bed and you say that to yourself, you are immediately setting yourself up for having a bad day. Most people, and I had this belief too, that when you go about your day, just say to yourself that it's not going to be a good day, because then it can only turn bad. You know, that's like a belief that a lot of people have, but that's bullshit. As I have come to find out with law of attraction and stuff, it's actually when you focus on the good, you get the good. And when you talk to yourself, like the first fucking second when you wake up, I had this too for a very long time, where a voice wanted to come up to me and say, oh no, today is not going to be a good day. I'm not going to enjoy today. I don't like today. I don't want to be here. I don't want to go to my job. I don't want to go to school. And you might believe all of that and you might agree with all of those things. You can still not choose to identify with them. You can still, as you wake up, and it might take you a couple of weeks or even months, That's fine. But you can choose what you think. And first of all, what you're going to do is to, when you wake up and you hear that voice, you're just going to let it say what it wants to say, and you're just going to ignore it. Like, I'm not saying by day one, you need to not hear the voice at all. You need to meditate and then do yoga and then do the Wim Hof breathing technique and then take your cold shower. Like, you're not there yet if you're still waking up with a voice that says, or with you agreeing to that voice, right? Because it's not actually you who's saying those things. If you've read the Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, I don't know. He talks about how insane the ego is, or how insane that voice in your head is. And it actually is insane when you think about it. Like, we all kind of like argue for our own limitations in a way, because we believe that that's the best that we deserve and that's the best that it's going to get. And it all starts with that voice in the morning. So you don't have to, as I said, like, do everything right on day one, and you might still identify with that voice, and that voice might still just, you know, have the power for now. But that doesn't mean that when you wake up the next morning that you have to listen to it. You can choose to ignore it, even if, this is also a very important point, even if your whole life sucks by your definition. You're not agreeing with how your life is being lived right now, but that's okay, because you might not be able to change it in like a day or so, and that's okay. That's like a belief that you need to let go, that you have to change things now, that you have to do things now, and you have to do a complete 180 in one single moment, because the kind of the exercise of doing this, and why it's important to do this, it's to realize that whatever happens in your physical reality, you're not a part of that. Like, the physical reality that you see is the past, right? It's all past manifestations, as there is no time. You're just moving from moment to moment. You can do this by truly realizing that the past and the future are just psychological concepts in your mind, because they don't exist anywhere else but in your mind. When you think you're remembering something, you're not remembering it, you're creating it. You're just putting it into the now. And when you think about time, you get all kind of like woozy and wazy and doozy and daisy, because it's like, where do I go? There's nowhere to go. There is nowhere to go but here. You know, it gets all wonky and weird, because it is. Time is not real. Time is what we create. Where was I? This is what you must realize in order to live in this moment right now. In order to, even though that voice, because when we talk about physical reality, I'm talking about your physical experience, but also about your inner world. So your thoughts and your feelings, those are all part of your physical experience too. That voice in the morning, I don't have that anymore. Even if my reality may not what I want it to be, and it's not perfect, and it's actually not at all the way that I want it to be. And even though I had my darkest days, for 2 solid years right now, I wake up without that voice. I don't hear that voice anymore. Or for a year now, I wake up without that voice. And 2 years ago, I might have still needed to push that voice away or just ignore that voice and got on with my day. But it became such a habit that I never, even though that my day just went by, and right now, all of the things that I would be bothered by don't bother me anymore. Right now, because of that little practice, I never, when my colleagues say, oh, it's going to be that kind of day, I'm like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And when they ask me, how did you sleep? You know, I say, like, well, I slept like 4 or 5 hours. And like, oh no, that's so bad. And I'm like, well, I feel great actually. Because I do actually now wake up, I don't hear that voice at all. I meditate immediately. even if I have to go to the bathroom real quick, I just ignore that. I meditate. Then I go to the bathroom, do my business. And then I take a cold shower, starting with warm, obviously, and then finishing it off with like 3 minutes of cold showering. And I feel great. And no matter how many hours I've slept, because Abraham Hicks once said that you only, if they were to be in our physical shoes, they would only need about 4 hours of sleep every single night. And that made me really think, like, do you really need... And there are people who need 8 hours sleep. If you need 8 hours of sleep, get your 8 hours of sleep. I'm not depriving you from that at all. But just when you become more clear and have more clarity on a mental and spiritual level, you're able to not need sleep as much. This is what I have found. And still feel great. You know, like what would previously... And this is what I mean by when you have that voice, or when you ignore that voice, and that voice is just there, it doesn't matter what happens to you. You are still the strong one, and you're still the one that's balanced, no matter what happens. That's like kind of like what this practice does to you. You regain your own power by doing that. Because at the end of the day, and when you go to bed and when you wake up too, it's all you. It's all you. No one in my life can convince me anymore that things out there happen and that's so bad and that's why I'm feeling this way. No, you're feeling this way because you are making yourself feel this way. By doing this every single morning, consistently do this, that's the secret to this practice, to actually changing your life permanently, or at least not having a bad day anymore, because no matter how much you beat yourself up about not being where you want to be, or how much you hate your life, when you do this, when you feel good, no matter how sucky or how not perfect your life is right now in your terms, in your definitions, it won't matter. Because what I have found right now is that my physical circumstances are so far from where I imagined myself to be for a long time and where my deepest desires are. But I'm still happy. And I don't care if I die tomorrow or if I live on for 50 years. And I don't care what happens to me. Because the one thing that I can control, and I don't actually need to have control over, but the one thing that I truly am, that I remembered who I am, that's the thing that is dominant. That's the thing that cannot be shaken. You know, the I am, before Abraham, I am. That's the thing that you only need to be. There's nothing out there that you need to control, that you need to manipulate. And there's nothing out there that can hurt you or do anything to you. Because if you take that all away, what is left behind? What remains? Fuck, I fucking hate that I'm like so inspiring, going on these inspiring monologues, and then I just fuck it up with my pronunciation. But what remains? You remain. And isn't that the most beautiful thing, that you don't need anything else? And aren't you just done, like, just waking up and immediately cast a spell upon your day? Oh, it's gonna suck. And then it does. Spoiler alert, it does suck because you said it. I never have those days anymore. Take it from someone who hated their life every single second of their day. So incessantly, so intense, so wholeheartedly, and so... I persisted so much in that conviction. And then the universe said, who is me? The universe said, well, here you go. Your life fucking sucks. You know, like, it's not story math. I want to say it's not rocket science. And I had the word story in my mind. But it's not fucking rocket science. You know, like, it's so simple. This thing that you can do that is free, do it. When you wake up, just say, and when you hear that voice that is just old thought momentum that's wanting to pick up again, and the only thing that you need to do is to just not interact with it, because it doesn't have any leg to stand on. You know what I said once in a video, and I'll link the video if I know which one it is that your negative thoughts and negative energy is just strength in numbers. And this is why when positive energy picks up and you're persistent in that, it goes so fast. Because positive energy and the good, basically, is who you truly are. So when you align with that, and you truly align with that, and you truly believe that, it goes like a speed train. But for the negativity to remain, it needs to be constantly there. It needs to constantly remind you of how bad things are. And that's maybe also why it feels so bad, because it's so, you know, in closing, I included a picture of a Bashar talk once where he explained how positive thoughts are sort of, they make sure that things expand, and that's why they feel good. But negative thoughts, the negative belief is designed in such a way that you can't actually figure out why you believe it, and that's why you keep believing it in order to perpetuate itself, you know. And they feel like they close you in. But sorry. And they feel like, you know, it isn't expanding. It doesn't feel great, you know. And that's the beauty of positivity, is that I just want to remind you that just because you haven't felt positive in a while, it doesn't mean that it's not meant for you. You know, just like when people say that you can't feel great 100% of the times, and there is going to be bad days. And from a linear perspective where time is real, that is true. That is most certainly true. I mean, I don't think that before this month I've had a day in my life where I felt 100% positive. But actually, when you come from as Tom Kieran from the Be Something Wonderful channel would like to say, a vertical experience, so you realize that the universe is you are the projector from a holographic reality where everything is projected from you, and you are the only source of power within that, and you attract everything back, and everyone is just you pushed out. When you realize that, then actually you can be 100% positive all of the time, because you realize that that is you. The universe is you. You are the universe. There's nothing other than you. So how could you be something else or somewhere else? The only reality is your imagination. There's nothing out there that can hurt you or harm you, because it can only hurt or harm you if you agree with that, if you have a belief in place that believes that, essentially. So isn't that a funny thing, that you are meant for positivity, but you're just so closed in by the negative thoughts and feelings and emotions that, you know, sometimes you just, when you're surrounded, you just can't see what's right in front of you and what wants to be in front of you, actually. Because as Bashar and as Abraham Hicks and as everyone, as the spiritual greats have all said, is that when you're manifesting, or when you want to manifest a certain type of thing, or, you know, you're looking up for techniques, we all forget that, you know, we don't need to find a way. We just need to get out of the way, because the frequencies that make sure we are manifesting, which we're actually doing all the time, as we just manifest, you know, negative things. That's why we think we're not manifesting all the time, but we are. We're manifesting right now by translating all of this energy into matter, basically. But we forget that we actually don't need to do anything, because we're all already emanating this type of frequency automatically that is the purest form of ourselves, and it could make sure that we get everything that we want. But we are so busy actually just listening to the negative beliefs that close us in, that we're in the way. And when we get out of the way, we're able to attract everything that we want without doing pretty much anything. And you're 100% positive all of the time. And it's not like I go through life right now, I'm like, la 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 la, and frolicking everywhere, and, you know, having birds on my fingers and giving random hugs to people and hugging trees. It's not like that at all. And I think that's kind of like this the stereotype for spiritual people, you know, and, you know, we meditate all the time. That's we do, but not in that type of way. But like, it's not that I feel that, but it's just this constant knowing, this constant conviction of peace and just like calmness, and I am that I am, and every single thing that once bothered me does not anymore, because it doesn't need to bother me anymore, because I don't believe that it serves me anymore. This is a very critical point that Bashar makes too, is that we believe things because we believe that it serves us in a type of way. It could be in a negative way that it serves us, and it could still serve us if we believe that we, you know, align with something negative and we believe we would deserve something negative. I had a belief in place for a long time where I believed that I wasn't worthy of having love. So my reality kept showing that and kept putting negative experiences with people, you know, in place for me to still believe that belief, because I believed truly that I didn't deserve love. So something negative happened and I believed that, and I just thought it served me because I believed that I didn't deserve it. So, you know, it could be that something like that manifests, and, you know, it's perfectly okay, because as I said in my last video, it's just the universe giving us feedback of where we currently are. And that's the great thing about the universe. It's just a reflection of where you are constantly all the time. That's what it is. That's what it does. So this little practice is really something that I started doing because I didn't, 2 years ago, I just realized that I not realized fully, but I got that it was me doing the suffering and putting the suffering in place. And I really was into philosophy and Stoicism at the time a lot, where they all talk about, you know, how you are the creator of everything, and you know, amor fati, whatever. What's the thing called? You know, like how you just should be okay with your unavoidable death. So why would you worry? And that's a great outlook to have, and it's a great place to start your spiritual journey at, if that helps you a lot, because it does take away a lot of the incessive thoughts and dependency upon other people. And it just, this little practice of just ignoring that voice that is going to visit you in the mornings, saying that it's going to be a bad day and nothing's ever going to change and that you're stuck. Just, you know, let that voice talk for a little while and see how much weight or how logical it actually sounds to you. And what also helps is to just then say it out loud. Yeah, my day is going to suck. I am stuck here forever. Nothing ever goes my way. My life just stinks. You know, just say that out loud and see how dumb you actually sound. And do that more often and realize then that actually everything could be going wrong around you. But if inside you is what's right, then who cares what happens out there? That's a great place to start at, and it's a great thing to do, and it doesn't require any time, it doesn't require any technique. You just literally just, when you wake up, just ignore that fucking voice that's in your head. That's the only thing that you need to do. And it's, as I said, a great place to start. So I hope you do this. I hope that it helps you, and I hope that you enjoyed this. I don't know if the next video is going to be a better decor, but yeah, I really like it here. Oh, it's so nice. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. And I want to thank you so much for 90 subscribers. Almost to 100. Let's make it to 100. Okay, see you next Tuesday. And I wish you a very good day or night. Bye-bye.